evening all. Ira Epstein with your financial market wrap-up. And this wrap-up is for Thursday, the 3rd of March, 2022, getting on to 5:30 p.m. Central Time. So let's go right to the energy market. It was pretty crazy today. You broke about $10 from the high in the market. I think we've reached the point, the just about 120 level in the Brent, where the market is saying, okay, we've priced in this current event. That should be about it. And that's what I think is going on. So for the Johnny-come-latelys, please be very careful. Of course, I could be wrong. I don't think I am. I think that we had the first warning shot from that market today. Bonds and notes starting to pile in the interest. You saw Fed Chair Powell again in front of Congress today, this time in front of the Senate, reiterating what he said. People are questioning his ideas of what transitory inflation is. In fact, Liz Clayman, as I was on Fox Business, she brought that up today. I don't have to defend the Fed. That's not what I'm doing. I'm reporting here what he is saying. He thinks it's transitory. I think that there's other issues now. I think you look at Ukraine for food inflation. You've got to look at their main crops, sunflower seed, wheat, corn, what percentage in the world. So what I did tonight, I took my newsletter, and rather than writing as I've been on the S&Ps and the other, forget it. One subject, Ukrainian grain, what they're going to lose. I hate to say this. I said that I think the spring and the summer, you're not going to get much in the way of planting. This is going to be a lost crop year. I don't envision the farmers saying, excuse me, Mr. Russia, could you move your tank? I got to get my tractor through here. Do you see that happening? It could, but do you see that happening? Now the farmer has to go, where's he going to get gasoline? Where's he going to get his fertilizer? What's he going to do, take a horse and plow and everything and do the land? That's my point. So as the war goes on, it's going to get hurt, and that's why wheat keeps running limit up day in and day out. There will be a number, like I'm talking in the energy, where the market says, okay, we have priced in the loss of the Ukrainian wheat at this point in time, and probably Russian wheat, because Russia's a pariah. There will be countries, China loves Russia, they'll buy all the wheat they can, they'll buy their energy, they hate us, OPEC hates us. You can see that they refuse to come in and say anything is wrong here with their fellow Russian aggression. Of course, when they get hit, America, would you come get us? How could you let this happen to us? You know the thing. Come on, they hate you. At the end of the day, the Middle Easterns hate Americans as a group. Not every country, but as a group, those governments, I never said the people, those governments know. But we're going to have a new friend. We're going to have Iran, and that could happen this weekend, and let's welcome them back into the fold. Yes, Khomeini, welcome back. Okay. So here we are with the S&P, and, you know, what do you have? You have a war environment. Do you think that's bullish for anything? You want to be the buyer here? I don't. Maybe. You know, I was with Sarge today on Fox Business, and he is preaching buy all the Lockheeds, the Rayathons, and so on. I get that. And he is assuming that it's not that the war has to go on, but everybody's budget in Europe is going to go up for self-defense. He's on to something there. I think makes sense to me. When I look at the March mini S&P, as the market's down right here, the battleground is that the market does this one swoop we had. If you revisited it, so that's what I'm saying in energy. Markets seem to get to a price where for a while that price acts as either a top or a bottom. Do you deny that the 41.01 and a quarter hasn't even been retested again, and you're 300 points above it with war raging? I don't think you can fight that. When I look at how the market's looking at moving averages, this whole rally came up off here, and you know what I teach. I teach that if you look at the red line, I will call it to you, I hope you watch this over and over, the line in the sand. It is the number the market likes to go to say, well, that's over. Now what are we going to do next? And that's just what's happening here. Now what are we going to do next? The trend is down. You resume it by just now breaking down, not taking out this high, and starting down again. You could be at the other side of the slope. Why? You have the bias down. The trend is still down. You'd have to take out this number to make me think there's danger. And as I've told you, I think the pros went short against that particular number. And they're looking potentially, maybe even the lower Bollinger Band. So I don't see things having just changed at this point in time. You'd even have the resistance of 44, let's call it 44.50, the 200-day average if you cleared all this. When I look at momentum, it is pointing up. It's not overbought, and it could easily, if you start down here, start to roll with it. So I am still in the bear camp as a chartist. Throw the name off the chart. It doesn't matter. Those are what the patterns look like so far. The NASDAQ did the same identical thing. You come back here, you made your spike low, the market's momentum turned up. Okay, the first resistance is the 18-day average, and I teach that's where markets like to go, especially after hitting Bollinger Bands, if they're going to say, gee, what am I going to do next? You tell me what this market's doing. It has an uptrend on the swing line, but it hasn't been able to close over that 18-day average. If it rolls, you can get back down here. If it just wants to hang there, you're in a resistance area. What about the Dow? Not too different, not an uptrend. It's got a lower low, higher high, but it too hasn't cleared the 18-day average. And even if it does, large layers of resistance. Now, what's going to make the market go up? I keep thinking. The Fed is going to give you a quarter-point hike. They could surprise with the half. That's not good news. Do you want to buy because of that? Look at the inflation all around you. That's in here. Everybody sees it. Okay, go to a store. There's going to be more interest rates to cut that down. You need supplies coming up. Do you see anything changing on U.S. ports where the products are making it through quicker? I'm not seeing it, and I do keep up with it. I just don't see it. I think that our administration has not solved the port issue. It's been there 6 months, a year. They might get it in 4 or 5 years. I give them credit for that. Do we have that much time? And what will inflation be like? In the Russell, I think you're just going to stay caught now in the sideways action. I want to be long this, not short. It's throwing a whole different story than the other indices are. So that's the one I'm saving for that. That does not mean I wouldn't take a sell signal as a chartist, but that's what I'm saving that one for. Then in the VIX, why aren't we rallying? Everything's terrible. And yet the market, unable to mount rallies. You would think a wartime market, you'd get this even crazier. Instead, the market's pulling in, and if anything, you're seeing a shrinking of the volatility, which actually supports stocks a little bit. In the T-bond market, you're still in an uptrend. Surprise? Not really. War environment does things like that. But lurking behind me, how far behind, I don't know. Lurking behind me is the Fed raising more and more rates. Now, they know the economy's in trouble. All you have to do is listen today to Fed Chair Powell. He's hoping things are transitory. He's hoping that the war event that is taking place isn't going to last on the economy. He's got a lot of things that he's counting on for that, but if they're not there, he has only one tool to fight, and he's got to do a balancing act. He's on a tightrope. This got to be the hardest thing for him in his career. He doesn't want to send the economy spiraling, yet inflation is relentless right now. He's got his hands full. Same in the 10-year note. You haven't started a downtrend. Now, when you do, it'll be a sign this ended. I'm going to go back here. What do I teach you? The first time you hit a Bollinger Band, you come out, and boy, what about that 100-day average? Not the first time you hit that, this. If you came out there, you have been looking pretty darn good. You caught the move. In the dollar index, you're over the upper Bollinger Band, and this is called the Gorilla Glue trade. And it's because the market hits the Bollinger Band and doesn't want to get away from it. It's a sign of bullishness, not letting those short out, not letting those that want to buy a good break in the market the opportunity. You're just locked into a trend. And the flip-flop is true of the eurocurrency, as that just keeps falling to the downside. The British pound getting oversold and suddenly no trend. Be careful. This is a different look to the market. Something bearish, though, happened to it today on the way to the park, okay? 134.86 to 134.93. Right now, look where the close was on the close today, Thursday. This is Friday's trade. You're getting a bearish crossover. So now more bearish news hitting this chart could drive it back to the lower Bollinger Band, and certainly stiff resistance on rallies to the 134.86 to 93 level. Bitcoin, the world's after the Bitcoin people that are using it in the wrong way. The focus is now not on you as an investor in Bitcoin. It's on the scrupulous Russians, right? That's who they're going after. Are they moving their wealth using Bitcoin? Task force is being set up. But, at the end of the day, who's going to get hurt? It'll be the average guy on the street. In the Brent versus WTI crude, I questioned today if the market didn't get high enough to call it a day. You got up all the way here. I just want to show you this. It could be a blow-off. You get up to the 119.77 level and you fall $10 from that. Now, the next step should be to get under the Bollinger Band. And the magic of this, how many days did we have in a row under the Bollinger Band? Well, not there. Day 1, 2, 3, 4. What? And remember what I said, it's rare you go beyond 5. Okay, I can live with that. Same thing happening in WTI and the same type of swing in price. 112.65 to 103.14, a $9 range. Come on, these are big numbers. These are prices we haven't seen in, 20 years, something like that. I mean, it's big. And then what about heating oil? It's not going to be left alone. 361.60 to 322. So you're talking a 40-cent move. Do you know what that is in a futures contract? Dollars. It's enough to give you a heart attack. Okay, if you bought that high and it came down on you, I'm warning you. This is not a market for the faint-hearted. You got to trade small. You got to trade smart. You got to have stops, and you got to say, if I'm not willing to take that risk, stand aside. I think that you've hit the area of key resistance now in nat gas again. And I think the market's sort of agreeing. You're not trending. You got a lower low, higher high. You rallied back up to the key resistance point. I look for the market to actually slip a bit from there. So this is how I talk in the morning to a degree. I'm much more aggressive because I'm saying buy here, sell there, do this, do that. And I cover it both in futures and ETFs and stocks. Right now, the easiest trade has been in the ETFs. I'm just telling you. Having a ball with that right now. If you think I don't keep track of it, you're out of your mind. I cover, though, like in the futures, the shorter term, the swing trades, and certainly the longer trades. That's why on the weekends, I do a weekly set of charts for you. And we look at the bigger picture. What are the risks? What can we afford on a risk? What do they look like? You slow the game down by taking a look at that chart. The day makes up the week, so you're always looking at that. I cover 40 charts for you with the news, what the market's looking for, events that are taking place, special reports, webinars, all included in the things that I'm doing. So how do you get this? It's simple. You go to our website, under the keyword research, just go up there, it's all explained, and away you go. I'm Ira Epstein. You have a great day. I will see you all tomorrow.